So it's been 30 seconds, no one's come on, so I'm just going to start talking and you guys can catch up later on. So my name is Kimberly. I am a pet blogger. I write the blog Keep the Tail Wagging, and I have 4 dogs that I feed a raw food diet to. I had 5 dogs. Last week we had to say goodbye to Sydney, who was diagnosed with hemangiosarcoma on August 5th, and she gave us 5 gloriously painful and lovely and perfect weeks. So we had time to just basically love on her and say our goodbyes, and then she left us. But it kind of feels like she's still here. But we have 4 dogs now, and so I am just going to, I've done videos before where I talk about, what I feed my dogs, how I feed my dogs, putting together a meal, and I want to do this again because one thing that's changed is that now that we've had cancer touch our family, I do things a little bit differently. And it's not a lot, but just a little bit differently because I want to make sure that, my dogs have a better shot at surviving cancer. With Sydney, we caught it too late, sadly. But with our dogs that we have now, the 4, I'm hoping that we either just don't have cancer, like maybe I should just stop saying the word and keep that out of the universe, but whatever the case may be. So tonight the dogs are eating alpaca. If you guys don't know what alpaca are, they look kind of like really adorable teddy bearish little faces on top of a body that's a small version of like a llama, and they're adorable. So yes, I am an absolute monster for feeding my dogs such an adorable animal. I also feed my dogs rabbits, and they're adorable as well. I don't feel too terribly bad about it because someone was gonna eat these animals, and so at least they were raised on a humane farm and had a good life. So I look at it that way. So I want to make sure, just in case. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can show your messages or not. Good Lord, I honestly don't know. I haven't done this in such a long time that I'm not quite sure what to do about the messages because I'm not seeing anyone's messages. Oh, and there we go. So I'm not sure what happened there, but anyway, so raw eggs. The dogs get raw eggs every other day. The reason for the raw eggs is simply because I consider this like their multivitamin. I get emails every week from people who want to know, what supplement do I need to give to my dogs for it to be a multivitamin and for it to balance their diet? The answer to that is a raw egg. I mean, this won't balance a diet, but this is what I treat as a multivitamin because I look at it as how nutritious does this have to be for it to raise a chick? So I crack that into the bowl. I'm actually creating a meal for Rodrigo. Rodrigo has EPI, so I have to create his meal earlier than the other meals because I have to add a supplement to have it pre-digest. They're also getting duck feet. So my dogs get duck feet because I put it in this big case. They get duck feet twice a day when I have a thawed out container of duck feet. So each dog gets 2. And then I make my own, where is it? Oh my gosh, I left it in the fridge. Well, I make my own veggie mix, and so I will add that after I stop the live. And I store it in a jar similar to this. I have it in the freezer until I need it, and then I thaw it out, and I just put a spoonful of veggie mix into their food. The reason why I give my dogs vegetables is primarily for the fiber and for the antioxidants. So I make my own raw meal. So I did buy the alpaca. It was just ground meat, no organs, no bones. And so what I did is I add in organs, I add in bones. Oh, hi, Roddy. Thank you so much. I'm starting to see comments now. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was pretty rough because Sydney was my special girl, so it was really sad to let her go. But my thought is that she is not in pain. She was ready to go, and so she gave me. I feel like she stayed for me, and so for that I'm grateful. So I just basically spoon everything up into the dish, and then I'm going to use. This is actually, I put it in here. It doesn't come like this. This is my jar. And then I tape the instructions on it. This comes from Enzyme Diane's. These are pancreatic enzymes for dogs with EPI, which is exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means that my dog's pancreas doesn't work. So he's unable to digest food and absorb nutrients. So left to his own devices, my dog would starve to death. So I add this. I add this is my own spoon. I add 3 heaping spoonfuls to his meal twice a day, and let it sit in there for 20 minutes, and it pre-digests his food for him so that his body can absorb the nutrients. So, oh, no problem. I'll see you later. And so that is that for Rodrigo. So while this is doing this, I'm just going to wrap this up video because I said that I made some changes because of the fact that we've had to experience cancer. I made some changes for my other dogs. So Rodrigo is now that was his sister that we lost. He is 10 and a half years old, healthy dog. This right here is an herbal blend, and I mix it with turkey tail. So there's a company called Kairos for Dogs. I don't think I have any. This is where all of the dog stuff goes, and I don't have any. Oh yeah, I do. Nope, I don't. I don't have any of the packages. So basically, I buy their herbal blend. Oh, you guys couldn't see it anyway. That is right there. That's the cupboard for the dogs. So I buy an herbal blend for my dogs. I put it in a huge bowl and I mix it with turkey tail. And so turkey tail is an amazing antioxidant and has, there are studies that show that it does a really good job of slowing cancer, killing cancer cells. And so I am adding this to my dog's diet every day. And by every day, probably 4 to 5 days a week. So I mix it up, put it into jars because I'm trying to transition from using plastic to using all jars. So I started with treats and I started with supplements. So I just add a spoonful of this to my dog's meal every day. I was doing this before Sydney's cancer diagnosis, but now I'm very focused on making sure I get this in their food. And so I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is Immune Boost from Dr. Harvey's. And this is just a really great supplement that boosts the immune system. 2 of my dogs got warts, and this is like I think it's papilloma virus. It's a virus that basically they develop warts, they grow, they're gross, they're highly contagious, but it is also pretty harmless as well. And one of the things that I learned is that the reason why the dogs get that is because there's something up with their immune system. So I started adding this to my dog's diet, and it helped to, along with a couple of other things, like I treated the warts. I have a blog post, but I treated the warts with coconut oil, with an essential oil blend called Thuja, Thuja, and colloidal silver. But I also made sure to boost their immune system so that it can help fight the virus. And it worked. And so I've continued using this, adding this to their diet. And that is pretty much the only changes that I've made to their diet. I'm still doing research, and Rodrigo, because he is Sydney's sister, he's going into the vet and he will be having an ultrasound to check his system. I want them to look at his heart, his spleen, his liver, to make sure that they are healthy and that he doesn't have cancer. The sad thing about hemangio is it's a very sneaky, quiet cancer. Like, dogs don't show symptoms. They don't seem sick until they are. And then by the time they do start showing symptoms, they're either rushed in for emergency surgery or the cancer spreads. But although that's just like sounds so dire, there are so many dogs out there that, because their parents are so vigilant about understanding what to give their dogs to slow the spread of the cancer and to shrink the tumors. There are so many. I have a video that I listed a lot of the supplements that I was giving to Sydney. Their dogs are living up to 4 years past their diagnosis, even if the spleen isn't removed. So it is possible. It's not a hopeless type of situation. However, a lot of those supplements, they're Chinese herbs, things like that. The downside is that they can make some dogs feel nauseous and, make them turn off of their food. And so it's like a really crazy balance of trying to understand. So I did see some people had posted something, and I don't know. Oh, here we go. So Baby Gertie says, how your puppers taking the loss? Are they adjusting? Well, that's what's really interesting is that Rodrigo is Sydney's litter mate. We brought them home together 10.5 years ago, or actually 10 and 4 or 5 months ago, but it doesn't matter. The dates don't matter. But they have been together their entire lives. So Rodrigo is a little bit lost, a little more clingy, a little sad, and a little confused. And I know this sounds crazy woo-woo, but a week after Sydney passed, I have a friend who's an animal communicator, and I set an appointment with her to speak to her, to just like talk to Sydney, and to also check in with Rodrigo and our other dogs to make sure everyone was okay. And I know some people don't believe in that. I very much do. And Rodrigo is struggling, and I can tell he's licking himself. He has like he's licked hair off of an area of one of his legs, and so we're monitoring that. And I'm giving him CBD oil, and I'm also using essential oils by the line Animalio, which is by Dr. Melissa Shelton. So I'm using chamomile. It's not chamomile, but chamomile. Sounds like, now that I say it out loud, I wonder if that's what her goal was. It sounds like chamomile. But and there's a couple of other ones, Aroma Boost, and another one I can't remember the name of, but I'm using with him to help him relax and Open Air. It's called Open Air, that I'm helping him relax and calm down, and it's really helping him. But he's still adjusting. They're all adjusting. For the first week after Sydney was gone, because Sydney was the one that kind of relegated. So if everyone started going crazy and being silly, she shut it down. And now that she's not here for a few days, it was sort of like it was open season in the house, where the dogs were losing their minds. I mean, just barking and jumping and parkour over the furniture. It was like insane. And it was like, the teacher went out to the hallway and the students are going to start swinging from the rafters. So we've had to shift things around and just basically go back to the basics of training. I have tons of training treats that I'm using to train with the dogs individually and as like 2 dogs at a time or 3 dogs at a time, to just get them back into the habit of, no, this is how you're supposed to behave when you're in the house. And it's getting a little bit better. But yeah, they are adjusting, and it's interesting. Oh, Ronnie, Kimberly, so sorry for your loss. May God bless you. Thank you. Grace says, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Heather, where do you get your turkey tail mushrooms? I actually get it from Canine Matrix. I get this brand, Canine Matrix. The amount of turkey tail, I learned so much when I was in the hemangiosarcoma group, but the amount of turkey tail that you're supposed to give a dog, based on size, they actually have a graph that explains to you. It was just easier and more cost effective for me to dose my dogs with this. They do a really good job with this product. The company is a reputable company. And so I have tons of this on hand. And thankfully, so many people were so generous when they heard about the diagnosis. So someone sent me a case of turkey tail. So I have plenty of this on hand. And someone also sent me a case of, the ladies of Cocoa Therapy sent me a case of their MCT oil, because I had put Sydney on a keto diet. And so now I'm going to start cycling Rodrigo off and on a keto diet, because he is her sister. Because I don't know, when it comes to cancer, sometimes it's hereditary, sometimes it's not, but these are dogs, so I don't know what to expect. So I'm just trying to cover our bases. Baby Gertie says, I was about to ask you the same thing. Where do you get turkey tail? And this is what I get. There are other brands that you can get. I don't know if it's in here. It's not. There's a brand called, I can't think of it. It's in human supplement stores. And I honestly can't think of it, but they have like a turkey tail. They have a mushroom blend. It's called Community. And I honestly can't remember the name of it, but that's a good one to give that people were recommending. I actually bought it and I'm taking it myself. And then there was a third one called I''Immunity, and it's sort of like immunity, but it's spelled differently. That one is supposed to be the most powerful. However, the cost is absolutely insane. If I had 1 dog, I'd be all over it, but I have 4 dogs and just simply cannot afford it. And the turkey tail that I get is perfectly acceptable. Yes, it is a powder. It's in here. So if what you see here is a mixture of herbs. The herbal blend is from a company called Kairos for Dogs, Kairos, and I think it's the number 4dogs.com. It might not be, but Google it and you'll find them. And they have an herbal blend that is good, has for liver support. So I mixed that one along with another herbal blend. And then I also dumped this basically in a huge bowl, like a bowl like this. Well, exactly this. And I mix that with a container of the turkey tail. And then I use a wire whisk to mix it all up. And then I transfer it into a container. And then my dogs get 1 teaspoon daily. So about 4 to 5 days a week. And that's basically what I'm doing right now. I don't want to overdo it on supplements. That was a mistake that I made with Sydney in the beginning, is I threw everything at her and it was too much for her stomach. So I'm going easy and just doing the 1 teaspoon per meal, 4 to 5 days a week, and going from there. Hold on a second. Apollo, what are you doing? Oh, I bet you he's probably trying to bring a stick into the house and couldn't get it through the doggy door. He's so funny. Anyway, so that is basically making a meal. It's super easy, but I did want to share just the things that I'm doing as far as cancer. I don't like to scare people, but I was taken off guard like you wouldn't believe, even though I know how high the cancer rate in dogs is. I think it's up to 60%. So basically, if you have 2 dogs, one of your dogs is most likely going to get cancer. And we had 5 dogs. So I think we were lucky that only one of our dogs got cancer. My veterinarian said that were it not how vigilant I am with their diet and the everything that I do, Heather, everything that I do, Sydney probably would have not survived the 5 weeks. She actually outlived the diagnosis. They said 3 days to 3 weeks. And so she was with us for 5 weeks. But also that she probably would have died like either months ago or years ago. So, because we don't really know when her body started producing cancer cells, because it's not something that shows up in blood work. And she actually went to the vet twice this year and had blood work done. And it's not something that you can see. And I don't know, it caught me off guard, and I don't want to be caught off guard again. And I don't want others to be caught off guard either. See the stick. No, you don't get to have this. So there was that. And so the final question that I got, Heather, right? So DC or Marvel? Well, I am a Marvel girl through and through, although I do appreciate the Dark Knight movies. They were fantastic. That Joker movie that came out in, I believe it was 2000. I don't know. Now that we've been in COVID for so long, I lost track of time. So I don't know. I believe Joker was winter 2019, but Joker with Joaquin Phoenix was a stupendous movie. I shouldn't say rant. I rave about that movie all the time. I can go on and on and on about how amazing that movie was. I would love to sit down with him, and then bring Heath Ledger back. I would love to sit down with him too and go over their movies frame by frame and talk about the choices that they made, because those 2 actors took that Joker role and just amazed me. But all in all, Batman versus Superman was okay. The Justice League, I liked the Justice League because I liked the actor that played Flash. And of course, I love the guy that plays Superman. I'm looking forward to the new re-release of the Justice League without the re-edits that they did of the one that went to the theater. Aquaman, I want to love that movie. I just don't. Suicide Squad, I want to love that movie. I don't. What is it? The follow-up, the Birds of Prey movie. I wanted to love that movie. I don't. But I am all over Marvel, all over Star Wars. So I will stop talking about that. Baby Gertie, so do you recommend adding turkey tail as a preventative? I am going to start doing that. I'm going to start adding turkey tail as a preventative because, of course, nothing is guaranteed, but I'd rather do it than not do it. And so I'm going for it. And based on everything that I saw in the hemangiosarcoma group, I just saw so many amazing success stories when it came to people adding different mushrooms to their dog's diet. I know in my video that I did, I said something about chaga mushrooms, CHAGA, and how they have the highest in antioxidants. They're actually not a good mushroom for dogs with hemangio because they act as a blood thinner. So I decided not to add those to any of my dog's diet going forward, sticking with the turkey tail because that's the one that's most recommended. And what is Jalek the Leader? We appreciate you sharing your experience. I got your book on Kindle, inspiring. Thank you. Thank you so much. And sorry to be so corny about it, but could you do me a favor and leave a review over on Amazon? Those help me out so much, you wouldn't believe. So that is that. I'm going to go ahead and feed my dogs and continue on with my evening, but definitely want to check in with you guys. Sorry I've been gone for so long. This summer has been crazy. The past 5 weeks have been insane. And I'm just getting back into my groove again. So I hope to start doing videos more regularly. But I appreciate you guys following me along. I hit 5,000 subscribers, so I'm pretty excited about that. But I appreciated that. But to wrap up, I just want to say, you guys, the time we have with our dogs is just not long enough. And I know we all know that in the back of our head. But make sure you love your dog, because it sucks when they stop being your dog. And Sydney, at the end, she just wasn't herself anymore. I could tell she was ready to go. She was there for me, and it was like she was comforting me the entire time. And she was always like my unofficial emotional support dog, and I miss her. But I'm grateful that I had the last 5 weeks with her. I'm grateful that she's no longer in pain. People tell you, and this is morbid, so I apologize if this bothers you, but people tell you that, when it comes to making the choice to say goodbye to your dog, that you'll know, that you'll look in their eyes and you'll know. I didn't have that experience, or I should say it wasn't just that. I knew in my heart that it was time. She was in pain. She was uncomfortable. She was not doing well at all. And she was not getting better. So I knew in my heart, but I was constantly doubting myself because I kept thinking, what if tomorrow she rallies? What if tomorrow? What if tomorrow? So no one can tell you, even your vet, no one can tell you when it's right to make that decision. So what helped me was thinking about what Sydney was like when she was healthy, and then looking at her that last few days that I had with her and asking myself, would I want her to live this way for a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 4 years? And the answer was always no. It was too much for her. And so I thought that if I love her as much as I love her, I have to put myself aside. I have to set my ego aside, set my feelings aside, and do what's best for her, because ultimately we're our dog's advocates. And if you believe in spirits and the universe and things like that, I can tell you that speaking to an animal communicator really helped me sort of ease my heart. I'm still sad that she's gone, but it really helped me. And if you're watching me, there's a good chance that you guys are either feeding a raw diet or feeding fresh food. We are doing everything that we can to extend our dogs' lives. And so don't beat yourself up if your dog gets sick. Unfortunately, there are so many things that can add to it. It's just, don't beat yourself up. Just do the best you can, and your dog will love you for it, as they do. So thank you guys for watching. And yes, it's never enough time. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. You guys have been amazing. Thank you.